Welcome to A2Viz AI Concept to Images. In this demo, I am testing the Wild House amenity building in Overland Park, Kansas, using an existing Revit model as the source of truth for architectural geometry and camera control. The Revit file is loaded directly into the camera and geometry source. A2Viz prepares a verified web model and opens the interactive three-dimensional viewer. So the visualization workflow begins from real project geometry, instead of rebuilding the design in another rendering application. Inside the viewer, I can orbit, pan, zoom, and inspect the clubhouse, tower, chimney, roof forms, windows, entry sequence, surrounding paths, landscape, and pool. This lets me review the actual model before any image generation begins. Before locking a camera, I validate the four core model conditions: three-dimensional geometry, units and scale, orientation, and model bounds and origin. These checks establish that the imported Revit model is ready for a controlled visualization test. For the first image, I position an eye-level 3/4 front exterior view. Once the composition is correct, I save the camera into View and Massing and lock the proxy. That locked image becomes the authority for perspective, crop, camera direction, and major screen space placement. The architecture settings define an exterior amenity building with a contemporary residential character. The prompt is intentionally strict. Preserve the Revit camera, building scale, roof geometry, tower, chimney, main entry, facade rhythm, pool relationship, circulation, and landscape boundaries. Reference roles are separated instead of blended into one ambiguous image. Sight and Scene supplies the plan and surrounding context. The material board defines slate roofing, standing seam metal, cedar, stone, brick, shiplap, and the documented dark paint tone. View and Massing remains locked. The architecture targets make preservation explicit: exact roof pitches, exact tower and chimney geometry, the recessed arched entrance, storefront and window proportions, secondary awnings, facade zoning, pavement, pool deck, curved circulation, lawn and landscape edges. I run the first premium generation in soft daylight. A2Viz combines the verified Revit geometry, locked camera, site reference, material palette, prompt, and target list into one architecture-specific image brief. Here is the first result. The Revit model becomes a polished exterior visualization, while the clubhouse massing, roof sequence, tower, chimney, arched entry, glazing pattern, paving, pool edge, and landscape organization remain recognizable. Next, I test presentation flexibility without changing the design. I switch the lighting direction from soft daylight to golden hour, while keeping the same camera authority, geometry controls, materials, and architectural targets. The second generation uses the same verified project context, but now the system translates it into warmer late-day light. This is useful when a team wants multiple presentation moods without reconstructing the scene or losing the underlying design. The golden hour result adds stronger atmosphere, depth, and material warmth while preserving the same front three-quarter composition. The important point is not only image quality, it is the ability to change visual character while retaining controlled architectural context. Now I return to the Revit model for a second viewpoint. The same source geometry is reloaded and rechecked. Giving me a clean starting point for another camera, without creating a separate model or a new visualization file. I navigate around the pool side of the building and test the camera from a higher position. The viewer supports perspective and orthographic inspection, which helps me understand roof geometry, pool deck relationships, covered terrace structure, and the surrounding circulation before I commit to the final view. For the second composition, I settle on an elevated aerial view that clearly shows the pool, covered terrace, main roof, tower, paths, and open lawn. I save this new camera into View and Massing and lock it, replacing the previous camera authority with the new confirmed composition. The second setup keeps the same Revit geometry and material language, but the site and scene reference now provides broader aerial neighborhood context. The locked aerial proxy still controls the building position, crop, perspective, pool location, and overall composition. The prompt and target list continue to protect the architecture. Roof pitches, tower and chimney, facade openings, arched entry, canopies, stone and shiplap zoning, dark roofing and metalwork, exact pavement, pool deck, landscape boundaries, and no invented parking or circulation. With the aerial camera locked and golden hour lighting selected, I start the final premium generation. The system again reads the model, camera, site context, materials, and architectural constraints as one coordinated request. During processing, the review criteria remain the same. Camera first, geometry second, then materials and atmosphere. A professional result should preserve the design logic before it adds realism, vegetation, people, water, and presentation lighting. And here is the aerial result. The amenity building, covered terrace, tower, roof forms, pool, paths, and landscape remain clearly tied to the Revit source, while the image gains realistic water, vegetation, material depth, people, and warm golden hour atmosphere. The generated still can then move directly into A2Viz image to video. The handoff carries the approved source image into motion controls for camera movement, stabilization, parallax, path direction, and other architectural animation settings. One verified Revit project. Multiple controlled views, client-ready images, and a direct path into motion. Inside one architecture-native A2Viz AI workflow,